All right. Before we get into the episode, let's get some housekeeping out the way. I am CiaraNirita, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cake and Conversations. Anything that you hear on this podcast is for entertainment purposes. I am not a trained professional. I draw from my own experience. So, if you are someone who needs to seek additional help or professional help, please do so. Now that that is out of the way, let's get into the episode.
I'm writing a vision and making it plain. Don't think it's a game, and some of it just might be hard to obtain. I know it, but I don't care, cause I know deep in my brain I'm destined for greatness, and I would not get it if I keep on playing. So let me go get it.
Hello, good people, and welcome to another episode of Cake and Conversations. I am CiaraNirita, and thank you so much for joining me today for another episode. Okay, so let's talk. So obviously, to some of you, you may have noticed that I have not done an episode of Cake and Conversations in a bit. It's been a few weeks, and I do want to first apologize if you by chance were someone who noticed that I had not recorded. I do appreciate that, but I needed to take a break. If you listened to my last episode, I feel like it was very short, but it was very heavy, and I was in a mental space that, although I could have just turned on the microphone and started recording, I don't believe that I was in the proper headspace to, in my opinion, give it the best that I know that I could have given it. And I don't ever want to just produce just for the sake of producing content on a weekly basis. I always want to make sure that I am my authentic self, whatever mindset I may be in at the time. I want to still make sure that I am still being my authentic self in the moment. And with everything that has been going on, with everything that I was dealing with, I didn't feel like I could adequately and appropriately express myself so that I could get across what it is that I wanted to get across. And at the time when I was not recording, honestly, only thing I could think to get across was anger, frustration, and it was just me honestly regurgitating all of the negative information that I had been taking in. So I've mentioned in the past that I am a consumer of podcasts as well as a producer of podcasts, obviously. And not only podcasts, but I also take in a lot of information just in general, to be able to develop my own opinions, formulate my own ideas, eventually come up with cake and conversation topics, ideas for different functions, and events that I want to put on in the future. Like, all of these things are developed from me taking in information, just like anybody else. When you take in information, you regurgitate it in a way that you feel is appropriate. That's how artists do it. That's how people who are in the music industry, they do it. They're taking in whatever information, whatever data, and then expressing it in a way that produces something. And I'm no different. So for me, I was only taking in negative data. And so, because at the time I was only taking in negative data because of everything that's going on with the coronavirus still running rampant through these United States, and then also with what seems like consistent murders of Black people in the streets of the United States, and then the backlash of all of that with all of the civil unrest that is going on in the world today. It was just a lot. It was really heavy. And although, like I said, I could have very well turned on the microphone and just started talking. I was prompted to do that by many people, but that wasn't really what I felt like I was led to do. I felt like I was led to be still. And that's what I did. I decided to take the time and really formulate my ideas and develop my ideas and talk to God, pray, meditate, do some exercise, and get my physical, mental, emotional, all of those things. I felt like I needed to kind of get back into alignment and get back to what is my baseline. And honestly, I just got there this week. I just got to the point where I felt like I was back at my baseline this week because although I have not been taking in a lot of information, I have not been on social media, I have not been on a lot of platforms. So I had not been taking in any information. And it's still, even after all of these weeks of not taking in information, I was still feeling the negative effects of what I had been taking in because I had taken in so much. So today, I really want to talk to you guys about how to deal with and what to do when you are on an information overload, specifically negative information overload. I think that so many times people nowadays, we are so desensitized, or at least we believe that we are so desensitized to so many things. I, for one, do not watch the multiple videos of the murders of Black people as a result of police brutality. I don't watch those things as a result of Black on Black crime, white on Black crime. Like, I just don't watch those type of videos. And I definitely don't watch them, the ones that are police involved, for multiple reasons. I don't watch them for one, because I don't want to continue to build on what I already have as a negative viewpoint of the overall police. Now, I say that I tiptoe very lightly around saying that because I don't want it to seem like I don't like or I hate the police. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for my personal interactions, more times than not, those interactions have been negative. It's unfortunate, but it is my truth. And so as a result of those interactions, more times than not being negative, I have this, I guess you can call it an innate fear or an hesitation to do anything that involves the police. And because I know I have this, unconscious bias, if you will, I do my best to not to build on that, because I don't want to paint the entire police force with one broad stroke, because that's not fair. It's not fair when people do it to Black people, and I definitely don't want to be the person that does it to anybody else. That being said, even though I was not watching these videos, even though I was not taking in that type of content, everything else that surrounded all of these situations, again, with this coronavirus, with the political climate, we are in an election year, so those things are still happening. And then with the Black Lives Matter movement, and then people trying to shine a negative light on that movement, it was just starting to affect me in a negative way. And I didn't like how I was starting to feel. I didn't like how it was really starting to weigh heavily on me and not allowing me to function at my baseline. And what I mean by my baseline is, on a normal day, when I am feeling, I guess you can say, good, or a normal day when I'm feeling like everything is just okay, like just an okay day, a regular okay day. When that's what I mean. When you, whatever that is for you, that's my baseline. And typically, honestly, I'm pretty content, happy person. I try not to allow a lot of negative things to influence my day to day, because I don't want to allow those things to rest on me, because again, that's what results in the reason why I had not been recording, is because I was taking in so much information that was honestly negative that I could no longer easily function in a way that I wanted to, or in a way that I was comfortable with. So I just needed to take a break. And I encourage everyone that may be constantly scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, constantly taking in information about everything that is going on in the world, constantly on the news outlets, CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox News, all of these different news outlets. When you are constantly taking in only negative information, there's nothing else for that information to do but to come out. So for me, one of the things that I did, one of the primary things that I've done to to definitely combat that is I I feel like this is about to sound like a cliche, but it's honestly the truth. Like, I literally got into my Bible. And some of you may be like, absolutely. But some of you may be like, oh, I'm so sick of that's what people say when they want you to. But no, when I tell you, if you are intentional about opening up the Word of God, God will direct your path. He will make a crooked line straight. He will clear your mind, all of these things. So I started to pray, and more than what I was, which is not enough if I'm being honest, but I started to pray, and I literally started to do a devotional in the morning, every morning. I was intentional about getting up early enough to do it. Now, these were not like super long, drawn out, written out devotionals. This was not what I was doing. I opened up my Bible app. I feel like everybody should, if you don't have a Bible app on your phone. So if you do not have one, go ahead and download it right now. But everybody should have a Bible app on their phone. I opened up the Bible app, and there was a plethora of information right at my fingertips. So one thing that I've done in the past as far as devotionals, I've tried to kind of reinvent the wheel. I have no idea why, because I am not a work hard kind of person. I am definitely a work smart kind of person. But for some reason, this particular thing, trying to do Bible study and trying to do devotionals, I always felt like I needed to reinvent the wheel or come up with my own like elaborate, thought-provoking Bible study and devotional, that caters just to me and what I'm going through. That is, if that ain't the craziest idea, I know it is. I absolutely know it is. But for some reason, that's just what I was thinking, or not necessarily what I was thinking. It was just the way that I was operating. And it was so counterproductive because I would never actually do anything. I would never get anything done. I would never truly get into the devotionals. I would really never truly get into the Bible study because I was always trying to focus on like, what am I going to talk about or not talk about? I was always trying to focus on what am I going to read? What am I going to write? Like all these things instead of just doing. So that's what I did. I opened up my Bible app, and I actually started doing this. In the Bible app that I have, there's a devotional called 40, I believe it's called the 40 Days of Love devotional. It's actually only a 28-day devotional, but it's all about love, showing love, God's love, like really getting to the root of what God is. God is love. We know that. So that's what I started doing. And they're very short devotionals. I don't necessarily listen to the video or the audio part of the devotionals. I didn't feel like they really matched what was going on in the devotional. I didn't. So this is definitely a, to your own discretion type of thing. But I just didn't feel like, for me, those didn't match the devotionals. So I just bypassed them every day or every devotional that I did. But the actual words of the devotional and the scriptures really helped me kind of get over the hump that I was dealing with. And I wasn't just reading it. Like, I have a journal with my Bible and the devotionals, even though I'm using the Bible app. I like a physical Bible. I like a Bible I can touch and highlight in and write in. So I always, even if I'm using my Bible app on my phone, I always have my actual Bible there with me so that I can reference it and potentially have something to highlight, or if I've already had something highlighted in the Bible, then I will kind of go back and reread what I've already highlighted. All this, it's a whole thing. So I would encourage, if you are in a space where you are taking in so much negative information, unplug from those, from your phone if you can, or not if you can, you absolutely can unplug. And if it's not like an actual phone call or, a potential text message, then unplug from the rest of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, I have muscle memory, and it's so funny to call it that. I have muscle memory, and so without even thinking, I will go to Facebook, I will go to Instagram, all these sites, and literally even YouTube. I will go to all of these sites and like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I don't even like it's. And then it was like, as soon as I scrolled like two good scrolls, and bam, there was another video, another thing about Black people getting hurt in the street, the world burning around us. It was just so much. It was so much. And I had to unplug. So it was without fail that over the last few weeks, that's how it would go. I'll do the muscle memory, get on the site, and then I'm like, nope, I'm off. So if you are Facebook friends or or you follow me on Instagram or YouTube or anything, you will notice that I haven't really been present on any of those platforms, because for those reasons, like I needed a break. And so, like I said, I unplugged, and then I unplugged from the electronics, and I plugged into Christ. I plugged into the Word of God. So that was the number one thing for me. That truly, truly, truly set my day in order from the very beginning, from the point of waking up. And believe me, y'all, I am not in any sense of the word a morning person. I am not. I struggle in the mornings for getting up. I really, really do. I do not like waking up early. I am a night owl. I will be up to the daybreak. That's just how I've always been wired. Although I am trying to change myself over, not necessarily to being a morning person, but to going to bed sooner so that I can get the adequate amount of sleep that I need, so that I can start my day on the right foot, but then also so that I can get up earlier so that I can do my devotionals. Like I said, they're very short. Literally, one is maybe 5 minutes, and that's all you need. I promise you, if you start the process, God will direct you. And even though they're very short, when I tell you, I have sat and done like multiple in a sitting, just because they're so short, they're quick hits, and I'll be like, oh, that's good, let me keep going. And it's like, oh, that was good, let me keep going. I've screenshot stuff and sent it to friends and took notes, like the whole nine. So definitely get into a devotional. Another thing that I would recommend, or a way to help you cope with negative information overload, is to do something physical. Do some type of exercise, physical activity, move your body, especially right now. So many people are still self-quarantining. So many people are still not really moving or active in a way that they may have been used to, or not even just used to, in a way that they hadn't before. So that's another thing that I did. I got up and I moved, and I started doing yoga. Y'all, let me explain this to you, because I have always said I don't like yoga. Flat out, period. That's it. Don't like it. And I say that, and it was always, I don't do yoga. Yoga hurts. And it does. Like, well, I ain't gonna say it does. It did. But the thing is, with me, this is one of my flaws, so I'm about to let y'all into my life. Like, welcome to the party. I am very much an overachiever. And so for me, like, I've always worked out. I was an athlete in school. I've never really stopped working out. Even if I've gained a lot of weight, which I have, I still could like work out. Like, working out was always something that's, I don't want to say came easy to me, but it was something I was always able to do. But yoga, I couldn't get with it. I was like, and the reason why is because I was treating it as if it was like my normal workouts. And I say normal very loosely. I treated it as if it was like a regular workout. Like for me, a regular workout, like I could not work out for, I do not, first of all, I do not recommend this at all, because in this particular situation, I realize what I'm about to say is nuts. So don't try it. Do not try this at home. Please talk to your doctor before you do something like this. Okay, now that we got that out the way. For me, when I do a workout, I cannot work out for a long time. Months upon months upon months. And then when I get back to it, jump right in and do like a hard workout. I will push myself to do that. It's not the smartest thing to do. I'll be in a whole lot of pain the next day, but I also am kind of a glutton for that type of pain. So, whatever. But I will push myself to do an extremely hard workout. And I was then trying to have that same mindset when it came to yoga. And that didn't work. It didn't work at all. So I was trying to like jump in and do all of these crazy yoga poses. And I'm not a very stiff person. I'm pretty flexible. I really am. So I was like, oh, I could do it. No, I couldn't. And it's not even that my body couldn't move in those ways. It's just that my body was not used to move, like staying in those positions. So I can probably get to the position, but you want me to hold this for how long? No, because depending on what my weight was at the time, because I am somebody who has fluctuated in weight, depending on what my weight was at the time, my stomach could have potentially been in the way. And that was not a pretty or a comfortable way to stand or sit or be in a moment for a very long time. So I didn't like yoga because of those things. However, what I have very recently come across is, I don't know if this is like, I'm not really well versed on like yoga vocabulary or whatever, so I don't know if this is a universal term or if it's just a term because of the platform that I use. So on the platform that I use, it's called Yoga Flow. I'm assuming that that's a term for everybody, but basically Yoga Flow is like a beginner, and I do beginners. So I do a beginner level of Yoga Flow, which is like they're basically moving very slowly, showing you the positions, and you kind of just flow from position to position, but it's really slow. It's beginner. You don't really hold it too long. It's enough where you can feel it, but it's not enough to where it's super, super uncomfortable. And so I started doing those. And when I tell you, it made the world of difference. It really, really did. Versus me trying to like jump in, like, like I've been doing this and I'm good, when I actually wasn't. And so actually I've started to like it. And I will say this, because I'm talking about yoga. As you know, I am Christian, and there are a lot of people who believe that yoga should not be practiced by Christians. I am not one of those people. I believe that it is an excellent way of stretching. It is an excellent way for balance and flexibility and strength, and that is what I use it for. The music that I typically do yoga to is not your traditional yoga music, if you will. Like, honestly, it's like R&B. Like, I be jamming in the yoga. I be jamming on the yoga mat. Like, it's a whole thing. It's a whole vibe over here when I'm trying to do yoga. But really, it's just a way for me to just like be present, to be intentional about my body, to be aware of what my body can do, to be focused on where I am in the moment, and to be present in the moment. It's not involving my phone. It's just me and my body, and me moving to the beat of a song that allows me to move slowly and intentionally and develop my strength, my balance, and my physical well-being. So yoga, that is another thing. I don't necessarily say go only do yoga. For me, it really has helped. I think that another part that you can, if you're not a yoga person, or you're not interested in like strength and balance and flexibility and those type of things, meditation. That's also something that I've started to do. When I tell y'all, I've been like busy this past week trying to get like literally intentional about getting my mind back together. I have really been intentional about it. So another thing that I've done is meditation. And again, I want everybody to know meditation is a good part of a Christian regimen. You need to be able to do meditation. It goes hand in hand with prayer. When prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening. Meditation is just about being still, being in a moment, and being present so that you can hear from God. So prayer and meditation, those things go together. And I've done them both. I've been praying, meditating, doing yoga, unplugging, all of these things, doing my devotionals. And then also, I have, not to the extent that I really want to. If you listen to my podcast, the last one that I did, then you would kind of know why I really haven't been taking my walks over my lunch break recently. But I did promise a friend today that I will start doing those again. So actually tomorrow, or today actually, because this is being recorded on a Monday, I'm releasing it tomorrow on Tuesday. So today I am actually going to take a walk on my lunch break, so that, well, as long as the weather permits, so that I can get out of the house, move around, and actually get some sunlight. So the next thing that I'm going to say is sunlight. Although I have not been taking my walks, I have been sitting outside on my patio and being able to just get some sun. Vitamin D, it is a natural, God-given mood booster. So get outside. Just sit. Even if it's 5 minutes, you don't have to sit in the scorching sun. You don't have to pick a time when the sun is like beaming down on you, anything like that. But just a time during the day where it's bright outside and just being outside in the elements. Sit still. Use that time for your meditation. Just sit and enjoy what God's gift to you was. Enjoy the blessings that God has given you. And just allow God to just speak to you, give God thanks. All of these things, you can do these things just by being still. So many times we are so busy, and we're always moving, and we're always in the midst of doing something, that we never really are still. So that was another big thing for me, just being still and being thankful and grateful for where God has placed me, being thankful for and grateful for what God has given me and provided me, and allowing myself to be vulnerable in a space and say, Lord, I need you right now. And I don't know how to necessarily get over this hump, because this is not something that I am accustomed to dealing with on a regular basis. This is not a feeling that I want to, or this is not a feeling that I have regularly felt so heavy for so long, and I need you. So that was a big thing for me, to get out and just get some sun. But again, like I said, weather permitting, I am going to start my walks back up. And so I'm going to start it tomorrow on Tuesday, on June the 30th, which, shout out to my baby girl. That is her birthday. So Ciara, happy birthday to you, June 30th. My baby is actually 16, y'all. It's a whole vibe. So those are really the main things. And not only those things, I incorporated other exercises as well. I did some stretching. I did some cardio. I have an exercise bike at home, so I rode my bike. I had already, like a long time ago, bought a jump rope from Amazon, and some resistance bands, and I literally had not even taken them out the plastic. That's how long, I don't even want to tell y'all how long this stuff has been in the plastic. Let's just say it was before Corona came around. So it's been a minute that this stuff has been in the plastic in my room, tucked away in my little bin of workout materials. Yes, I have one. I got a whole lot of stuff that don't even be used, but don't judge me, whatever. But I busted out that jump rope, and I did some jump rope. I turned on my music, and I just did some jump, even a 10-minute jump rope in the morning. When I tell you, it made me feel so good. It was such a good feeling to get my day started with my prayer, my devotional, my meditation, my 10-minute workout as a jump rope, and then maybe do some stretches after that. I can't tell you how good of a day you about to have after that. Like, it's about to be bananas. Like, because you starting it on a good foot. And honestly, I've noticed when I start my days like that, or when I start my days on a positive note, then I'm less likely to have people influence me negatively. Like, I'm less likely to have those people around me who may have otherwise irritated me or frustrated me. It's not, they're less likely to get under my skin if I am intentional about how I start my day, because it's starting on a good foot. But yeah, so those are some things, some tips for me, that the things that I've done to combat all of the negative information. And honestly, I'll say this: I have still not went back to social media. I still have not started back really on Instagram and Facebook. Not that I was real heavy on them anyway, but I I just need a break. Obviously, I'm going to post on Instagram tomorrow because I need to like advertise my Cake Conversations episode that a new one is available. But honestly, I just need a break. I just need a break. And that's okay. Like, I really would like, or I really wish that more people would acknowledge that they need a break from certain things like this. Like, I think that people don't recognize how much of a negative effect these type of things have. And it's not even like, right now I feel like it's on the extreme side of how much everybody's getting, just because of the current climate and everything. I feel like it's a little extreme. But just even, 6 months ago, when a lot of this wasn't so much on the forefront, but a lot of our timelines are filled with just negative, like just people being negative, like people being drama filled. Like, all of those things affect you. All of those things have a negative effect on you. That it can have a negative physical effect, like your physical body can react to these things, and like your body can be tense. If you notice you're constantly shrugging your shoulders, like, if you just, like, even right now while you're thinking about it, just drop your shoulders. You probably didn't even realize that your shoulders were hunched or your shoulders were so tense, because we're just automatically like that. So, just be aware of what's going on with your body. Be aware of what's going on with your mental capacity. Be aware of what's going on with your spiritual life. Just being aware of yourself is the ultimate way to make sure that you are able to check yourself. If I was not aware of what my baseline was, then I would not have known that I was so far off kilter. I wouldn't have known that I had shifted so far away from my baseline if I hadn't known what it was. So because I knew that something is wrong with me, it just wasn't like, man, I don't feel good or something, I'm off or whatever. I didn't automatically write it off as something that it wasn't. I knew exactly what it was, and I had the tools to be able to correct it. Thank God for it. Thank God for the ability to do it. Thank God for the knowledge or the foresight that I needed to take a break. And I am praying that everybody is willing to do that same thing. I don't think enough of us pay attention to our mental wellness. I really don't. I think that so many people don't recognize that mental health is a part of your overall wellness, and taking in so much negative information on a consistent basis will definitely affect your mental health, your mental well-being. So I just want to again wrap this up and say, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are checking in with yourself on a regular basis, on a daily basis, sometimes even an hourly basis, to say, am I okay? Am I where I need to be? Am I at my baseline? If I am not, if I am below my baseline, then what do I need to do, or what do I believe I need to do to put me back up to my baseline? What is it that I need to do, or what is it that I'm experiencing, or what is it that I'm seeing, or what information, what data am I taking into my being that is allowing me or causing me to drop below my baseline? I really want you to figure that out. And whatever that is, use that information to correct wherever you are. Use that information to get back to where you should be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. All of these things, all of these parts of you need to be in alignment. All of these parts of you need to be on an even keel. You don't want to shift or you don't want to swing too far to a negative side, because that's a hard place to come back from sometimes. So I don't want to get off into a different tangent of talking about mental health, because I do have a couple of things up my sleeve dealing with mental health, specifically in the Black community. So those things will be coming to you very soon. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so very much for showing me grace while I had to get myself back to my baseline, get myself back into a headspace that allowed me to produce content that I felt proud to produce for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you all. It's so much love, and I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.